Boker or Masechet Kiddushin Daf Mem Amud Aleph. Yeah, it says Daf Mem Amud Aleph. We're talking about right now, right? We just finished by speaking about the entire concept that if an Avirah comes to a person's hand, he's going to be saved. So they're going to do a miracle to him. Says the Gemara, Gibore Choach Ose Devaro, Ya Lishmua Bekol Devaro. The pasuk says in Tehillim that Gibore Choach, the people which are strong in their strength and they do the will of Hashem, they do the words of Hashem. This is going to be like, for example, Rabbi Tzadok and his friends. Rabbi Tzadok, there was a maturinta that came and she asked, she wanted to grab, right, Rabbi Tzadok to do an Avirah. Yeah, and right, so basically she could have killed, she could have done a lot of things. Rabbi Tzadok, what happened? Elmaleh, right? So he went, Elmaleh, he told her, Chalash li libai, right? Velo matzina. He says, right, I apologize. I'm so hungry. I'm not going to be able to fulfill what you want me to do. Yeah, I'm too hungry. It's not going to work. Ika midi lemechal. Do you have something to give me to eat? Amrale, she told him, Ika davar tameh. I only have basar, no kasher. Amala, he says, my nafkamina. Right? What's an nafkamina exactly? Right? Kasher or not kasher. David ha, if somebody's already going to go with a goya, achulha, he might as well eat something tameh. Yeah, if he's already going to go, what's it? Yeah, he might as well. So shagrat tanura, so she came and she put on the oven. Kaman chale, she put the meat in the oven. Salik, right? Diatit begaveh. He went inside the oven. Who kafatz betoch hatanur? He didn't want to do the avirah. Amrale, she told him, Maya hai, right? He says, what are you doing? Amalla, he told her, David ha, right, to do what you just asked me, nafil beha, is going to fall into the fire of Gehinam. Rabbi Tzadok. Right? Ve'amrale, and then she said, if I would have known that it's so chamur for you to do such a thing, lo tziyartich, I wouldn't have bothered you. Meaning, look at kedekach that Rabbi Tzadok taught musar to this woman, that she said, if I would have known that it's so important for you, if I would have known that it was so, look how terrible what I wouldn't have asked you to do it. I wouldn't have asked you to do it. Rav Kahana, Havakamazbin, Dikule. So Rav Kahana was selling baskets, right? Basically, they put to women. So that was his job. Yeah, he was selling these baskets, and they used to put whatever they needed for, like weaving or whatever it is inside of there. So Tavateu Mitrinta was a Matrinta that wanted him to do an Avirah. Amala, he told her, Azili Kashi Nafshai. Let me fix myself. I have to adorn myself. Yeah, Salik, he went to the Gad, the Kanafi Migra Le'ara, and he went and he jumped off the roof. Yeah, you heard? He jumped off the roof. Ata Eliyahu v'kible, Eliyahu Navi came and he caught him. Yeah, imagine, he caught him midair. Amale, right? Eliyahu comes and he tells her, Kana, Atrachtan arba'a mea parse. You made me run to catch you 400 parsaot. Yeah? So, right? So Amale, he comes and he tells him, Mi garamli. Right? Who's the one that caused me that I have to give myself to save myself? Lava Anyuta? He says it's because of the Anyuta. Meaning, why is he forced to sell these baskets to women? Because he had no money. So therefore, it came with a nisayon. And therefore, so Yahav le shifra dedile. So he gave him a kali full of zahav, and he made him rich. So Eliyahu Navi came and he gave him a utensil of gold, and now once he's rich, he doesn't need to sell that, and then he doesn't have these tests, right, of women trying to come and run after him. Yeah.
Now that he's going to have money, he's going to have more women.
Rami lei Rava le Rav Nachman. So he says, right like this, Rava comes and he asks from Rav Nachman. So now we learned to the Mishnah Peah. Elu devrim shadam oseh otam mechudim perotam mezikarim ba. Elu hen kibud avayim gulu chasdim avat shalom ben chaver otam udur kelen gulam. Bekibud avayim ktiv and kibud avayim it's written leman yerichud yamecha leman yitavlach. So basically, we're going back to the Mishnah, where we said that Mishnah there in Peah. That basically, how do we know the kibud avayim? As it says, leman yerichud yamecha leman yitivlach. So yerichud yamecha leolam haba, right? And yitavlach is ba'olam hazeh. Gemilut chasadim is certain road of tzedakah v'chesed mitzvah chayim tzedakah v'chavod. Somebody that's going to pursue tzedakah v'chesed, he's going to find chayim tzedakah v'chavod. So yimtzah chayim is l'olam haba. Tzedakah v'chavod is ba'olam hazeh. Gemilut chasadim k'tiv is certain road of tzedakah v'chesed mitzvah chayim tzedakah v'chavod. Somebody that's going to sorry, I just read that. Babat shalom. We're talking about now bringing shalom. It says bakesh shalom v'rufeu. Rabbi says, you're pursuing gzera shava. It's written by Bakesh Shalom v'rufeu. When it's written, so the same halachot apply. In Talmud Torah, it's written, ki hu chayecha ve'orech yamecha. Yeah. By the way, that pasuk of ki hu chayecha ve'orech yamecha is what we say in Arit. Ki em chayenu ve'orech yamenu. Yeah. Which means the Pirusha Ketuv is Ki hu chayecha is l'olam hazeh, ve'orech yamecha is l'olam haba. So basically, these are the four different ones that we mentioned, right? Kibud habayim, gimlu chasadim, avat shalom, and Talmud Torah. Yeah? B'shiluach haken, nami k'tiv l'mani tavlach v'rachta yamim. Litzni namiha. Meaning like this. We only had four. We had these are the things which Adam oseh otam. Number one, kibud habayim. Two, gimilut chasadim. Three, avat shalom en adam lechavero. And four, Talmud Torah keneg gulam. And we brought psukim by all of them. Why don't we bring shiluach haken? That's the question. Bring shiluach haken. So says the Gemara, b'shiluach haken amiktiv v'ani tavlach v'rachta yamim yedin yamiyah. Answers the Gemara, Tana v'shiyed. You're right, we left it over. There's an extra one. You're right, we could have brought it. It's left over. So Tani Tana elu devarim ve'at amarta Tana v'shiyed. He says, I don't understand you. When he says elu devarim, it's mashma, only these are the devarim. You understand? How many devarim are there?
These. Four.
How many? Four. There are four devarim. Yeah? So it should have been five. So if it's written elu devarim, and we're talking about, right? And we're talking about really bad. There's one left over. So why did it say elu devarim? Yeah. Amar Rava, Rav Idi Asbirali, right? So Rav Idi explained it to me, where it says Imru Tzadik Kitov Kifrim Alelechem Yochelu, right? Which means praise is praiseworthy at Tzadik Kitov Kifrim Alelechem Yochelu. Tzadik Kitov is going to eat perot masim tovim. בעולם הזה, והקרן כלנו מבא. וכי יש צדיק טוב, וכי יש צדיק שאינו טוב. He says, I don't understand. Is there a צדיק טוב and צדיק אינו טוב? What does that mean? He says, אלא, but rather, טוב לשמיים ולבריות, זהו צדיק טוב. If he's going to be good, also לשמיים and also לבריות, it's a צדיק טוב. But it's טוב לשמיים ורע לבריות, it's a צדיק שאינו טוב. Which means that he's not going to eat the perot, right, בחייו. So that's the reasoning why Shiluach HaKen was not in the Mishnah and Peah. Because all the ones there, they're masim which the briot also benefit from it. Here, the briot don't benefit from it, which means like this. Kibud avaim, who benefits? The parents. Gimilut chasadim, the other person benefits. The avat shalom en adam lechavero, tamut, everybody benefits from it. So since it's good for everybody, you brought it down in the Mishnah. Shiluach haken, who benefits? It's only the guy that did the mitzvah. There's nobody else that benefits. So since it's only the guy that does mitzvah, that's why you didn't bring it down. Because
what? Because then what?
Because not everyone benefits. So that's why they didn't bring it down. Right? That's why we said the same thing. It says in the pasuk, Oy rasha ra ki gemul yadav ya'aselo. Which means that rasha ra mekabel gumul ma'asav aravim also already in this world. Besides the honor shel olam haba. So says the Gemara, יש רשע רע, זה שאינו רע? רשע רע. There's a רשע רע, רשע טוב? What does that mean? אלא רע לשמיים ורע לבריות. If he's going to be רע לשמיים ורע לבריות, זה רשע רע. רע לשמיים ואינו רע לבריות, זה רשע שאינו רע. Okay. Fine. Next. הזכות. We're talking about the זכות of the קיום המצווה. יש לה כרם ויש לה פירות. So when you do a mitzvah, there's going to be keren, and then there's going to be, right, there's a keren, the principle, and then there's going to be perot. Shneimar imru tzadik kitov, kifrim alechem lechu. Avara yesh la keren ve'la perot, but an avera only has a principle, doesn't have perot. שנאמר בסדר פסוק, אוי לרשע רע. ולמה אני מקיים, so what am I going to מקיים in the first place, ויאכל פרי דרכם מוצאת המסבר. Meaning, from this pasuk, it's mashma that there are perot for the bad actions. So it says the Gemara, avera she'oseh perot, yesh la perot. She'no oseh perot, en perot. An avera, when he does an avera, if there are perot, for example, you know, that there's a chilul Hashem, and then the other people also learn from it, so then it does have perot. But if it does not have perot, which means you don't learn from it, so if it does not have perot whatsoever. Machshava tova mitzaref al maaseh. We know that a machshava tova, Kadosh Baruch Hu, is mitzaref al maaseh, shneimar, אז נדברו ירא השם איש אל רעהו, ויקשב השם ישמע וייכתב ספר זיכרון לפניו לירא השם חושבי שמו. מה היו חושבי שמו ולדיר חושבי שמו? אמר אסי, אפילו חשב אדם לעשות מצווה ונאנס, even a person wanted to do a מצווה and was נאנס, ולא עשה, and he didn't do it, מעלה כתוב כאילו עשה את זה, כאילו that he did the מצווה. מחשבת רעה, אין הקדוש ברוך הוא מצווה למעשה, בת, מחשבה רעה, הקדוש ברוך הוא לא מצרף למעשה, שנאמר בזה פסוק, אבל אם ראיתי בליבי לא ישמע השם. ולמה אני מקיים, זאת אומרת, אני מקיים, אלא העם הזה רעה פרי מחשבותם. So what does it mean? What does this pasuk mean? We're talking about that it's פרי מחשבותם. פרי מחשבותם is like the מחשבות הרעות. So he says, מחשבה שעושה פרי, הקדוש ברוך הוא מסובב למעשה, מחשבה שעושה פרי, הקדוש ברוך הוא מסובב למעשה. He says, no, פרי מחשבותם means you're right. If it's going to be a מחשבה, which is going to be מצרף למעשה, which means it's going to make a מעשה, so then you're right, then it's going to become bad as well. But if it's not going to be, right, making a peri, a machshava she'en ba peri, so then it's not going to be mitzaref al maaseh. So it says the Gemara, v'la dichtiv man tefos et bet yisem libam. What do you do? So Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, ha'u ba'avda koch b'yu dichtiv. It's what I would say. The Amar Mor says, chamura avodah kochavim, shekol ha'kofer ba yimodeh b'chol ha'torah kula. Avodah zarah is so strict that if you're going to come and you're going to go against Avodah Zarah, it's kilu you're mekayem the entire Torah. Fine. Ula comes and he says, look at Ravuna. Ula wants to come and say the machshava ra'ah is going to be in a certain case where it says Ravuna, kevan she'avar adam avera v'shana ba utralo. When a person does an avera and he does it again, right? Utralo becomes permitted. Says the Gemara, Hutralo Saka, do you really think it becomes permitted? Ela rather Naasilo keheter, it becomes then like a heter, that it becomes like permitted for him. So Amar Rabbi Yehu, Mishum Rabbi Chanina, says Rabbi Yehu, Rabbi Chanina, Noach lo le'adam she'yavor avera b'seter v'yechol Shem Shemayim b'faresya. It's better that a person should do an avera b'seter and not be mechalel Shem Shemayim b'faresya. Shneimar b'sez pasuk v'atem et Yisrael kol man Hashem ish gilulav lechu yivdu ve Achad, im enechem shomim elai, v'et shem kochi lo techallu. Okay, so therefore it says the chilul Hashem that we're talking about is doing an avera b'farhesia. So Amar Eli Azaken says, if a person comes and he sees that he has his yesera is becoming very strong on him, he should go to a place where they don't know him. He should put on black clothing, and cover himself with black clothing, and then do whatever he wants. And then he shouldn't be mechalel shem shamayim b'farhesia. Says Gemara, any is it so? Vatram, we learned in the Mishnah. Kol shelo chas al kvod kono, ra'ui lo shelo ba'olam. If he's not going to be coming, right, and having mercy on his man, on his creator, so therefore what's going to happen? It's fitting that he shouldn't come to the world. Mahi, what are we talking about? Rabbi Omer zam mistakel bekeshet. If you're going to look at a rainbow, and this is the concept of the bad thing of looking at a rainbow, right? Because it's kilu that you're adding on the daktek bavata, not just stam re'iyah. It's like kilu you're causing bad things. Okay. So he comes and he says, okay, there's a whole question about exactly what you're supposed to know. But fine. So he says, if Yosef says, if you come and do an avera baseter, it's kilu you're mezalzel bichvod HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're showing kilu that I'm not afraid of him. Right? In front of other people, that's one thing. But but so then one second, so that's mezalzel Hashem. So answers the Gemara like a question. One of them you're able to control your yitzhara, and therefore you come and you control yourself. Right? But for Hesia, lo yachote, you wouldn't have sinned. So then it's much more chamur the maaseh that you do shechote baseter. that you're coming and you're going to be choteh in the private places. But if you cannot control your Yitzhara and you're going to do it, whether it's b'tzina or b'farhesia, obviously in such a case, adif lo lavor b'tzina instead of b'farhesia in order not to do Hilul Hashem. Okay? We also learned to the Mishnah and Avot, and makifim mechalul Hashem, echad shogeg ve'echad mezid, which means that we're not going. They're both the same. Chilul Hashem is going to be the same, whether it's in shogeg, whether it's going to be mezid, all these things. It's all going to be the exact same. What does it mean mekifin? They do not become like a chenvani, which means right when you come and you buy things on credit, and then at the end you have to do everything together. The Chilul Hashem, they don't do that. But rather, every single time that he's going to do an Avirah, they come and they start collecting. They don't wait until it's a bigger amount, and then they come and they say, pay up. Every single time. You did something, boom, pay back. Did something, pay back. Did something, pay back. They don't wait until it becomes a big cheshbon, right, on credit, and then, now I'm going to come and I'm going to take it back. Okay? That's going to be this concept. To teach you if it was shekula, right? What does that mean? If it's going to be shekula, it's going to be machra'at, right? What does that mean? It's going to be machra'at. It's going to be machriya lechaf chova, which means that if a person comes and he has, right, let's say different avirot, and then he has chilul Hashem, so therefore it's going to be machriya lechaf chova. So we're on the two dots on the bottom of Mem Amud Aleph on the last two words. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the right, le'olam. This is mamash so apropos, and it's incredible how the Daf Yomi, you see the hand of Hashem, how think about it that out of all the 7 years, right, Dafka, it has to come out in the middle of the Seret Teshuvah, because, think about it, a person had to even decide this. He's going to start thinking every single time. It had to come out biduk in the middle of a Seret Teshuvah, and it's mamash, remember, this is already, was already in 2 days Daf, I think, right? The 2 days or 3 days Daf. Yeah, so think about it, we're in the middle of a Seret Teshuvah, and this is what it says, Leolam yireh adam, right? Mem Amubet. Atzmo kilu chetzio chayav vechetzio zakai. A person always has to look at himself as if he's going to be half of chetzio zakai vechetzio chayav. Asa mitzvah achat. If a person is going to do a mitzvah, ashrav, so fortunate is shechriya atzmo lechav zechut, because he's going to be mantzchiya at atzmo lechav zechut. V'avar avera achat, if he's going to do an avera, oilo shechriya atzmo lechav chova. So woe to him because he was machriya atzmo lechav chova. Shneimar v'says pasuk. Vechote echad yabed tova harbe. One sin, he is going to lose a lot of good. That's a pshat, that because of one single individual sin, he's going to lose a lot of tovot. Yeah, he's going to lose a lot. Says the Gemara. You know why also? Because everything goes after the majority. That if the Rov HaOlam are tzadikim, so then the entire world is zakai. If the majority are Rishaim, so the entire world is chayav. So it's not only going to be for him, it's him in the entire world. It's not only for him, it's him in the entire world. Tova harbe. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Omer. Says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, afilu tzadik gamur kol yamav, even when the guy was a tzadik gamur, his entire life, umarad ba'acharona, and only towards the end of his life he came and he rebelled against his creator. He bello arishonot, he destroyed everything that he had at the beginning. Shneimar says that tzidkut tzaddik, the righteousness of the tzaddik is not going to save him on the day of his wickedness. And even you're going to have the opposite, that he was a rasha gamur kol yamav. Right? And he comes and he says, rasha gamur, he did a teshuvah at the end of his life. Yeah, what happens? They never mentioned to him his wickedness. So says the Gemara, 1 second. If right now he was marad ba'acharona, he lost everything. Then have him, well, at least it should be mechza mechza. What does that mean? Even if he did it, but at the end of the day, okay, he was but how did he lose all the zechuyot? Amar Shakish says that Shakish betohe ala rishonot. This is a very important concept that a person has to be very, very careful never to be tohe ala rishonot. Right? What does that mean, tohe ala rishonot? A person, many times, they don't realize how Hashem tests him. I remember it was something incredible. I was with my wife, and all of a sudden, somebody comes, and we were in Venezuela, and somebody comes and he says, come inside. I'll take you home. Right? He comes inside, right? We go inside the car. All of a sudden, he starts, and boom. Right? He got into an accident. He didn't realize, and he went. So really, his car was the one damaged. The other car, nothing actually happened to it. So, but it was Kilu his fault. And then he went, and he continued going. That, in essence, is a Kadosh Baruch Hu testing. Should you regret it? Why? Because by nature, a person will say, Chaval, I shouldn't have given them a ride. Why? I just smashed my car. And now he goes to the, how do you call this thing? The tayer, the mechanic. And he's going to say, $1,000. So, for doing a favor. I shouldn't have done the favor. That's called Toel Arishonot. And that, in essence, is what the Satan wanted to do. What is me'acharenu? After the mitzvah, the Satan will always come to try to get us to regret it. So that's what the Satan did with Akedat Yitzchak. Immediately after Akedat Yitzchak, what happened? Sarai Menu passes away. Why did Sarai Menu pass away? So we have Rav Avinu is going to regret Akedat Yitzchak. Because if he regrets doing the Akedat Yitzchak because of the Akedat Sarah passed away, so then what happens? We lost the entire zechut of Akedat Yitzchak. So that's the concept of Tohe al Rishonot. If a person comes and he's going to be Tohe al Rishonot, he loses the merits of the mitzvah. And that's why it's very, very important. A person should never be Tohe al Rishonot. And that's what happens here. He says, this guy was a tzaddik his entire life. Even if at the end he rebelled, but he still got all the mitzvot. What happened to him? Why did he say, no, that's it? Like, he loses everything. Why loses everything? No. If he regrets everything that he did, so then Mehmet, he does lose everything.
He should have asked you to pay for the fixing of the car, so then he wouldn't regret.
Says a Mishnah, Mema Mubet. Kol sheyeshno b'mikra b'mishnah of derech eretz, lo b'mira uchoteh. Somebody that comes and he's osek in mikra is Torah shemichtav, the written Torah. Mishnah is Torah shebel peh, and derech eretz, which means he's got midot tovot, musar, this, that. Lo b'mira uchoteh. He's not going to come and start sitting so easily. Shneimar b'says the pasuk ve'achut hamshulash, the three braided, like, braided, like when he has a rope made of three different strands. Lo b'mira yunatek. He's not going to come quickly to break. Right? And therefore also here you have three. But if he doesn't have these three, he's not in this world. He should be living in the desert, basically. Like, what's he doing? He doesn't have no mikra, no mishnah, no derech eretz. Where should he be? So Amar Rabbi Elazar says Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Tzadok. So he comes and he says like this: Lema tzadikim nimshalim ba'olam hazeh. What are the tzadikim compared to in this world? La'ilan shekulo omed mimkom tahara, to a tree which is in a place which is tahor. But the nof, right, which is the branches, are towards the tumah. Niktzatz nofo, if you're going to come and you're going to take off part of the nof, right, for the kulome, so he's going to be completely in the makom tara. Kacha kadosh baruch hu, sotu hakadosh baruch hu bevi yisurim al tzadikim al hamazeh. He's going to bring yisurim al tzadikim in this world. Kedei sheyireshu haolam haba, in order to be, right, yoresh olam haba. Shneimar. Because it says, right? It says, Baya neshitecha, right? Mitzar v'acharitecha yizke meod, which means that ba'olam hazeh a person will get a onesh, right? That's the kavanah b'neshitecha. He's going to get mitzar, like tza'ar of the averot that he did. In order to the acharitecha will be that he will get the acharitecha. He will get the end. But what are the shame compared to the ba'olam hazeh? To the tree, which the entire thing is in the Torah. Now the branches are going towards the Tara. It says, if you're going to cut off the branches, he's the entire thing in Tumah. They're going to give them Torah in this world. In order to come and to get them out of Olam Haba and to give them Geinam. Yeah? So therefore they get Geinam. Shleimar, Yesh derech yashar lifnei ish. Fine. וכבר היה רבי טרפון וזקנים מסובין בעליית בית ניצה. So to Rabbi Tarfon and the Zekinim were already in Aliyat Bet Nitzah in Lod. ונשאלה שאלה זו בפניהם. And this question was asked in front of them. Talmud Gadol or Maaseh Gadol? Is the Talmud greater than an action, or an action greater than the Talmud, the learning? Now, Rabbi Tarfon says Rabbi Tarfon, and he said, "V'amar Maaseh Gadol." And Rabbi Kiva came and said, "Talmud Gadol." Lanu kulam amru Talmud Gadol. The Talmud Gadol. Why? Shetalmud mevid maaseh. Because basically both of them are going to be in your hands, which means that you have the ma'alat limud and also the ma'alat mitzvah, because Talmud mevia lidei maaseh. And therefore, since the Talmud mevia lidei maaseh, that's why it's going to be more important. Okay? Now he comes and he says, Tanya, we learned to the right. Rabbi Yosef says, Gadol Talmud shekadam lechala 40 shana. Do you know it's greater, the Talmud that came, the Limud Torah that came the 40 years before the mitzvah of Rashat Chala, right? Because we know that since the Torah was given in the third month, which is the month of Sivan, and they weren't obligated in mitzvah of Chala until after 40 years when they went to the Eretz Yisrael. So Trumot, right, to Maasrot, 54. It was actually 54 years. Because remember, it was 40 years and then another 14 years until they actually conquered the land. Shmitim to Shemitah, right? When we're talking about now Shemitah, Shishim Va'achat, right? 61 years. Yovelot, Yovel, 103 years. So basically, we're trying to make a calculations on each one and one. When were we actually given? So Talmud, which is Torah, right, was 40 years before Rashat Chala. Then you add 14 years for Trumot Masrot. Then you're going to add another 7 years. So therefore, you have 54 plus 7 is 61. And then you're going to have another time until the Me'av Shalosh, right? Because you have from the 54 to 49 is 103. Okay? So it says the Gemara, why is it 103? Yovel is 50 years later, not 49. It's 104, not 103. So Kasavad Yovel mitchilato meshamet. He holds that it goes from the beginning. That's why it's going to be 103 and not 104. Okay? Nekuda. Then says the Gemara, just like the limud comes before the maaseh, kach dino, so to the puranut kodem lemaaseh. Meaning the puranut comes to somebody that's not osek in the Torah before somebody that does not do the actual mitzvot in itself. Like Ramuna says, the first thing that they're going to ask a person about is divrei Torah. Why didn't you learn Torah? Shneimar says pasuk poter mayim reshim madon, which means tchilat adin is reshim madon. What is reshim madon? Is that he's poter porek or poter me'alav the old Torah, which is compared to mayim. Just like the judgment on the limud Torah is before the maseh, so to the reward is called maseh. Shneimar vayiten lahem aratzot goyim v'amal le'omim. What does that mean? You see from here that Tishmerun is Limudo Mishnah. Torotav Yinsoru is a mitzvot. So it comes out from the fact that Pasuk brought down Limudo Torah before the Kiyuma mitzvot. It's mashma the Tchila you're going to have the Yerushum Yisrael Kodem Kol the Schar because of Limud Torah, and then afterwards be Schar the Kiyuma mitzvot. We said anybody that does not learn not Mikra no Mishnah, he's not in a Yishuv. He should be living in the desert. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, upasul le'edut. He's pasul le'edut. Why? Because if he's not makpid al atzmo, if it's not going to be makpid al atzmo, so therefore, what does that mean? Yeah? Tanu Rabbanan. Right? We learned in the Braita, ochel bashuk, harez domeh lechelev. Right? V'yesh omrim pasul le'edut. So if somebody is going to eat in the shuk, he's compared to a dog, and he's going to be pasul le'edut. Says the like the Yeshomrim, that they hold that if you're going to eat in the shuk, you're domeh lekelev and you're pasul le'edut. That's halacha actually, halacha l'maseh. Darash bar kapara says bar kapara ragzan. What do you mean ragzan? Ragzan is a person he gets angry a lot. You let up his fuse. Lo alta biyado ela ragzanuta. So he only has the roges. That's the only thing that comes up. Right, those right. Ul le'adam tov, right. Bat, right. That's what it says here. Not only he's going to get punished for olam haba, right, but also even in olam hazeh. Because in olam hazeh he's suffering, he's all angry, right. Ul le'adam tov, into a good person, matimim otom mipri ma'asav. He's going to have right the perot olam hazeh and ken olam haba. Okay. So he says over here, v'chol she'eno lo b'mikra v'nesham lo b'derech eretz dor hana'a mimenu. Right, so anybody that does not have not mikra, not mishnah, not a derech eretz, a person should come and make a neder against him that he shouldn't benefit from him in order that he's not found by him. Shneimar u'moshav letzim lo yashav moshavo moshav letzim. That's why his place is a moshav letzim. Why? Because if he doesn't have not Torah, not mikra, nothing, so he's a moshav letzim. He's a letz. He's a mocker. Hadran alach האישה נקנית.
The